Sonny Hostin never stops ripping on the cops. View co-host Sonny Hostin says she introduced her son to the police ahead of time so they don't harass him for jogging in her all-white neighborhood. Roll it, Elvis.
As a mother of black children, I know that black boys are not given the presumption of innocence and the presumption of youth. I have had to be in the position where I have gone to my local police department because I know my son is going to be training for the Junior Olympics, running around the neighborhood in an all-white neighborhood, and I have brought him to the police and said, he belongs to me, this is my son, do not harass him, do not stop him.
Amazing. A typical Democrat moving to an all-white neighborhood, then bitching about racism. Hey, lady, there's a reason you live in that all-white neighborhood. You picked the safest place for you and your family. Now you're ragged on the cops. If you want to relocate to the south side of Chicago, it's a buyer's market. Sadly there, your son will train by running from gunfire and not from the cops.
Tyrus did the unthinkable. He went straight at the View, and chaos followed instantly. Even Whoopi Goldberg couldn't brush it off. It felt like a sudden shock hitting a perfectly set table. Cups rattling, faces frozen, the whole room caught off guard. The mood flipped from calm to stunned in seconds, with nervous laughs and tension rising fast. His comment landed so hard that Whoopi's reaction said it all. This wasn't just surprising, it blended comedy with controversy. Did Tyrus really shake the View with one move no one expected?
You train for the Junior Olympics, don't you run on like a track?
Do you know what? I gotta tell you, this story should have been the lead. Yeah. I'm thinking about it, all the things that we're talking about. It has everything. It's like a freaking hoax. She just lies.
It's a juicy Smollett classic.
Yes, this is a Smollett number 9. She got it off the menu. It's amazing. I might have to talk about this all day tomorrow.
If you're enjoying this takedown, make sure to hit that subscribe button. It started like any normal morning on The View. Voices talking over each other, coffee cups shaking like they sensed trouble ahead. Whoopi wore the look of someone who's seen every on-air mess possible, maybe more than once. The tension was already hanging in the air before the cameras even warmed up. Then Tyrus entered the conversation. Not in person, but with a single line that hit the studio like a truth bomb, slicing through pride, loud opinions, and some very fragile egos.
She is feeling guilty about being a successful black lady who lives with white people, so she has to play.
Hold on.
Yeah?
Successful slave-owning black woman. Get it right.
Yeah, slave-owning. Her ancestors owned slaves. So she has to play up this, like, I am a target of oppression, so she can remain on a credentialed level with other blacks.
No, stop it, Greg. She was lying through her teeth. She's full of she all the cops are just in a group sitting around drinking coffee. Hey, police, this is my kid. You see him running around, you leave him alone or you got to deal with me. And they're like, oh, Sonny, yes, ma'am. And then the one cop was like, nah. And they're like, put it away, put the baton away, Johnson.
He didn't shout or put on a show. Tyrus stayed true to his style, calm, steady, and in control. He cut through the noise like it was nothing. Every line carried that relaxed, nothing surprises me anymore tone, and that alone shook the View. When Tyrus speaks, he doesn't chase drama. He turns it back on everyone else. The damage was quiet, clean, and sharp, and far stronger than they expected.
That's not what I read. The true sign of the apocalypse is someone that dumb has a law degree. Worse, if your name has the word son in it, there's no excuse for not knowing how an eclipse works. But it's no surprise that Joy is the one who understands science. She's been on the science diet for years.
No, nothing really comes to mind. I was like, ching. Listen, they're bitter, they're angry, they're entitled. They also should be. This should have been a reset for everyone who pushed lies and misinformation for the last. They called him Hitler. They call these things. America rejected them, and instead of coming back and saying we lied, they instead are now doubling down. So let her keep doing it, because if she keeps that up, we're going to keep getting the Senate and probably the House and the White House, because people see right through your lies. So keep doing what you're doing. Game ball to Sonny.
And The View reacted exactly as you'd expect, rushing at him like a bad idea that just won't go away. The show has turned disorder into its trademark. Constant interruptions, endless contradictions, and dramatic breaking news that rarely breaks anything. Most days it feels less like a conversation and more like an emotional scuffle. WWE energy, but with coffee cups and very little logic. It's loud, chaotic, and the same unruly spectacle every single time.
Hostin's obsession with race gets thrown back in her face. Today's video comes to us from sunny Hostin. Sounds like a town. We're in sunny Hostin. She was on PBS's Finding Your Roots, a show dedicated to researching celebrity ancestry. For context, Sunny is a staunch supporter of reparations and has made a fortune spewing nonsense about white privilege and racial justice. Well, turns out she's not as oppressed as she claims she is. She's actually the descendant of slave owners from Europe.
And then there's Whoopi, the determined referee standing in the middle of the storm. She stays calm until someone actually pushes back. Then the composure vanishes in an instant, replaced by a wave of judgment on live TV. That signature glare everyone knows, the one that can freeze a room faster than a sudden blackout. It's powerful, unmistakable, and Whoopi at full force.
Sure, all that, and the price of butter. Sonny gets the game ball. If it wasn't for her, asking that question, it might have been a closer election. But when oh no, nothing really comes to mind, I was like, cha-ching. Listen, they're bitter, they're angry, they're entitled. They also should be, this should have been a reset for everyone who pushed lies and misinformation for the last, they call them Hitler, they call these things, America rejected them. And instead of coming back and saying, we lied, they instead are now doubling down.
Tyrus saw right through the act with that calm, heavyweight smirk. He called it out like someone who'd already read the script before the show even began. He pointed out how The View can preach unity 1 minute, then divide the room faster than a cut to commercial the next. It was sharp, direct, and packed with truth. The kind of reality check no one on that set was ready for.
Wow. I'm a little bit in shock. I just always thought of myself as Puerto Rican, half Puerto Rican. I didn't think I was, my family was originally from Spain and slaveholders.
Yeah. So how are you feeling, my friend?
I think it's actually pretty interesting that my husband and I have shared roots.
Yeah.
So I do appreciate that.
His delivery was the real impact. No shouting, no big gestures, just sharp humor and precise points, all under total control. While the panel acted like guardians of modern insight, Tyrus treated their seriousness like a comedy sketch falling apart in real time. He basically implied, "This is what you call meaningful conversation?" The irony was impossible to miss. The show claims rational debate, yet every episode spirals like a messy group chat that can't stay on topic. When Tyrus broke down their chaos, it wasn't just funny, it exposed a clear pattern. He compared their style to people who promise open discussion, but only if everyone agrees. The moment someone pushes back, the topic suddenly becomes dangerous. Tyrus didn't need volume. His calm tone hit harder than shouting ever could. That's why the show struggles with him. He won't play along. He won't chase approval. And his honesty disrupts their routine simply by being direct. Some even joked he got more reaction from one quiet line than they manage in an entire season of arguments. And Whoopi, she wasn't happy. But how do you corner someone who refuses to get dragged into nonsense?
Their brains are small. But who's the dumbest one of all? True, none of them are in Mensa, but who's the most densa? Perhaps it's Sunny who mastered the art of making idiots look smart. Now, The View could ask a mirror who's the dumbest one of all, but there's no way that glass doesn't shatter. So instead, let's check out this clip from Monday's episode of The View when the ladies put their science caps on and discuss the solar eclipse.
Tyrus carried the calm confidence of someone who's seen every trick and refuses to get pulled into staged chaos. It was as if he silently said, "You can't shake me. I left the circus a long time ago." That's what pushed Whoopi over the edge. Her expression blended authority with disbelief, like someone repeating the same message for years and still no one buys it. But Tyrus's real power was control. No raised voice, no mockery, just precise honesty. He treated their intensity like a balloon ready to pop, and with one pointed remark, pop, the whole act unraveled. He highlighted how The View can argue endlessly over trivial things while pretending it's earth-shattering analysis. It's like watching brunch philosophers, he seemed to say. Only instead of quoting thinkers, they echo trending posts. The longer he spoke, the clearer it became. This wasn't petty. It was a spotlight on the echo chamber they hide behind words like empowerment and justice. Naturally, Whoopi took it personally. But Tyrus wasn't targeting her. He was defining the entire show, a place where the loudest voice often mistakes volume for wisdom. And Tyrus, steady in the storm, never wavered. He just delivered that quiet reminder that real strength doesn't need applause.
Oh no, nothing really comes to mind. I was like, cha-ching. Listen, they're bitter, they're angry, they're entitled. They also should be, this should have been a reset for everyone who pushed lies and misinformation for the last, they call them Hitler, they call these things, America rejected them. And instead of coming back and saying, we lied, they instead are now doubling down. So let her keep doing it, because if she keeps that up, we're going to keep getting the Senate and probably the House and the White House, because people see right through your lies. So keep doing what you're doing. Game ball to Sunny.
The internet blew up instantly. Some said Tyrus had crossed a line, while others cheered him for saying what most people only whisper. Here's the twist. The View ended up proving his entire point on live TV without even realizing it. The next day, the panel slipped straight into victim mode, turning unfair criticism into its own dramatic storyline. Their logic stretched so far it nearly snapped, claiming their constant chaos was structured conversation. It was like watching someone insist their cat could run for office. Funny, but far from reality. Tyrus knew exactly what he was doing. He dropped his lines like breadcrumbs and let their reactions do the rest. And while Whoopi tried to maintain her classic, "we owe nothing to anyone" look, the internet didn't buy it. Every glare, contradiction, and dramatic sigh was clipped, shared, and analyzed frame by frame. That's the irony of The View. They love to present themselves as truth-tellers, but crack the moment truth points back at them. Tyrus reminded everyone that real confidence doesn't beg for applause, it stands firm. He exposed their version of tolerance: agree and you get approval, disagree and you're exiled. That's why his calm, controlled roast hit harder than any shouting or confrontation ever could.
It's not even that. In The View, you don't need to find Trumpers. You need to fire your race baiters.
Yeah.
You need to fire the two races. You've had people. You had a McCain on there. You've had people on there before, and you ran them off. Mm-hmm. So the racist ones who want to stick to this, Whoopi and Sonny, and was it Bette Midler? What's her name? Yeah, broke-ass Bette Midler. Fire them and bring people in. Maybe you could get McCain to come back. She was a Republican.
You could almost feel the collective gasp as the truth hit. Suddenly, the Emperor looked completely undressed. Whoopi's reaction was cinematic. The long exhale, the slow tilt of her head, that familiar "here we go again" stare, dripping with silent judgment. But behind that steady expression was obvious frustration. Someone had finally called them out, and with more control than anyone expected. The power of Tyrus's roast came from restraint. He didn't chase attention, he let the truth do the work. Every quiet remark landed like a shockwave, precise, calm, and impossible to ignore. Their confident monologues faltered, and their laughter came out strained. Tyrus did the impossible. He made The View look small without ever raising his voice. With dry humor, he joked that the show's biggest accomplishment was turning daytime TV into jury duty, endless, repetitive, and pretending to be discussion. And the best part? He didn't need to call names. Everyone already knew. That's when honesty hits hardest, when ignoring it is no longer an option. Seconds later, the internet erupted, pairing Whoopi's eye rolls with Tyrus's calm smirk. Television chaos, unfolding in real time.
The problem is that you have to go after the racist people. And if the CEO goes, you know what, I'm not going to allow a woman on my show, or man, that will go after white America and talk about them like dogs. That doesn't represent our ideals or values for anyone. And get rid of those people, and this will clear up real quick. So do you have to actually look in the mirror and clean up your own backyard and get the racist people out? Because that's who you allowed in. You allowed black racist on TV who could just go all day and say anything about white people. And I guess lo and behold, they forgot that there's a lot of people at home, white people at home during the day, that are not watching your show anymore. So just clean it up.
Yeah, you know, Emma.
Tyrus would have savored every moment, not because it proved him right, but because it let his entire point play out in real time. The View can't let anything fade quietly. It thrives on conflict the way toddlers crave attention. Loud, exaggerated, and impossible to ignore. You could see Whoopi gearing up for one of her familiar "I've seen it all" speeches. But even she looked worn down this time. Maybe she finally realized, you can't outmaneuver someone who uses humor instead of anger. That battle is lost before it begins. Then came the real shift. Tyrus didn't dismantle the show by attacking it. He exposed it simply by staying calm. By the end of the week, the panel tried to act like it was all beneath them. But you can't unring a bell. Once the truth lands, it stays. Every time they mentioned respectful dialogue, viewers remembered Tyrus's quiet roast, still hanging in the air. Their biggest mistake wasn't responding. It was proving his entire point while claiming they didn't. They became the punchline to a joke they never saw coming. Tyrus remained composed, steady, and unmatched in the art of the effortless takedown. Sometimes the loudest sound in a room is the silence that settles when truth finally hits. The View couldn't leave it alone. They always reach for the final word, even when it's the wrong one. The next episode opened with their staged calm, tight smiles, carefully raised coffee mugs, and pretending they hadn't spent the night rereading Tyrus's comments. Whoopi started with her trademark dramatic pause, the one she uses before she clarifies something. Except this time, no one asked. They tossed out vague references to commentators and some people out there, as if viewers didn't already know who shook them. That's when you know Tyrus got inside their heads, when the entire panel starts speaking in code. Meanwhile, Tyrus was likely enjoying his morning coffee, completely unfazed. The more they insisted they didn't care, the more obvious it became that they absolutely did. The show slid straight into self-parody, 5 voices insisting they were calm while spending 10 minutes proving the opposite. And that's when the moment came full circle. Tyrus didn't need a follow-up, a victory lap, or a comeback. The View did all the work for him, reacting, overreacting, and revealing exactly what he exposed in the first place. His calm truth outlasted their noisy defenses, leaving a silence they couldn't patch over with slogans or practiced speeches. In the end, Tyrus walked away unchanged. The View spent days trying to convince everyone nothing happened, but everyone saw it. Everyone replayed it. Everyone understood the unmistakable truth. One quiet line can shake an entire stage when the people on it rely on chaos to survive. That's the difference. Tyrus doesn't need volume to make an impact. He doesn't need applause, backup, or theatrics. His strength exposes weak arguments without even touching them. And once that truth hits, it lingers, following the panel from episode to episode, turning every forced laugh and careful pause into a reminder of the moment they couldn't control.